Hey, welcome in Huntsville. Another wonderful good morning to you. Thanks for waking up with us. What do you love about Huntsville? What makes this a great place to be?
Everyone here is very genuine and very kind and friendly. You never hesitate to speak up and say hello or good morning or just acknowledge the person walking by.
The thing that I love most about Huntsville, I love the peace that Huntsville brings. I love the peace that it gives me.
I feel accepted and part of the town and like I belong here.
Huntsville is where my lovely wife lived when I met her, so I moved here. So I'm pretty thankful for her.
All right.
We're bucking for you in Huntsville, Texas.
Hello, I'm Billy Coppin, the Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home.
Hey, it's Gay Boating with Tomorrow's Provost Montessori Schools.
Good morning, Huntsville.
Good morning.
Hey, I'm Karen.
I'm Toy. And I'm Denise.
And from all of us at Walker County Federal Credit Union,
Good morning, Huntsville.
Good morning, listeners. Before we get started this morning, I'm going to have the camera off this morning. You know, we wake up today, many of us, with extremely heavy hearts, and this morning, I believe, is more than just Jason and I sitting here on what we always call a Thankful Thursday. That's not just another broadcast, though, this morning. I believe it's truly a morning of deep reflection. Many have raw emotion today for humanity. As we all know, yesterday, September the 10th, 2025, around 12:10 local time, something unimaginable happened at a Utah Valley University. Charlie Kirk, a speaker, a father, a husband, a Christian, most importantly, and a voice to many millions, was shot in a planted setup called Prove Me Wrong, part of his American comeback tour. And that shot from a rooftop approximately 200 yards away. He fell, blood visible on his neck. Chaos erupted, students scattered. Videos show many people saying, "Run, get down." Those voices echoed across the quad where he was set up. Authorities had later confirmed that he was rushed to the hospital in critical condition. He succumbed to his wounds later at just 31 years old. And this morning, I just want folks to breathe for a moment. We talk so much here on Sunday mornings about pausing and taking a breath. But this morning, think of the shock, the grief, consider the anger, the sorrow, and in the middle of all that, many have fear this morning. And Charlie was not just a political figure. He was a man of faith, an evangelical Christian, a husband to Erica. She was a fashion designer, is a fashion designer, former Miss Arizona USA, a loving father to 2 young children. His daughter was born in August of 2022, and then a son just a year ago in May of 24. This young man from founding Turning Point USA as a teenager to becoming one of the loudest voices in conservative youth politics. Charlie's life spanned political fervor and spiritual conviction. He hosted the Charlie Kirk Show on Radio Daily with well over 100 million engagements over the last 12 months. And then many, many more on his Prove Me Wrong tables, where he showed up at colleges and universities and told people, come to the front of the line. Come to the front of the line and talk. He spoke passionately, though, about faith, family, and freedom. And as we pause this morning, he's gone. And then in the middle of all of this, processing this fresh wound, we cannot ignore what else this day represents. September the 11th, 2025, it was 24 years since the attacks of 2001, when nearly 3,000 lives were stolen in a single morning. It was a day when our nation was brought to its knees, and yet, in the midst of fire and ash, we came together in unity, faith, and resilience. And on this anniversary, as we grieve Charlie's death, we are reminded again and again how fragile life is and how sacred every breath truly remains. And friends, I want to say this morning, it's okay to be overwhelmed. It's okay to feel anger. It's okay even to feel numb. Many people do. It's normal to feel some sort of a chasm inside of you where hope and heartbreak come together and clash. And yet, and what I can think of as a crucible of emotion, I want us to remember these truths, that it is okay to disagree. Our differences of opinion, of belief, of politics, that's what makes us uniquely human. But it's not okay to take a life. That is a sacred line that's a line that's sacred and really unbreachable, and we are way better than this. And friends, let me say it again. We are better than this. When the world tempts us to knee-jerk into anger, because it does, or retreat into cynicism, when our hearts lean towards bitterness, this is the prime spot when we must choose compassion. And I believe this is when Christ's love must shine the brightest. Because the apostle reminds us that we have fought the good fight, we have finished the race, and we have kept the faith. And friends, our unity is stronger than our division. And as I always try to do, challenge people, this is a challenge for every one of us this morning. Before letting outrage spill into words, before choosing division over dialogue, before allowing anger to blind us to another's humanity, let us pause and let us pray and let us remember that we serve a God who brings beauty from ashes, redemption from tragedy, and healing from hurt. And today, friends, all of you who are listening in or joining us, I invite you to join me and Jason here in a moment, who I'll bring on, and everyone across this divided nation. I pray that we join many thousands, and not just thousands, but millions more, in lifting up Erica, his wife, who stood through him in public life and now stands alone without him, just in memory. His 2 small children, too young to understand why Daddy didn't come home. And those children now will just have visions of what they saw on, what they see from their dad on the screens as he did his show for so many years. They'll know his stories, but they won't understand why he didn't come home. His family, his friends, and everyone that was involved with Turning Point USA, all grappling with this terrible loss. And here we are. It's our nation, though, wounded once again, not just in flesh, but in spirit. But in its memory, friends, I encourage you to choose love, boldly, fiercely, persistently. Don't let these words just fall off your shoulders this morning. Choose kindness in disagreement. Choose mercy over mockery. Choose dialogue over destruction. And most importantly, choose unity in Christ. Charlie is gone, but we're not. And in that, there's a responsibility. There's a call for all of us to step into grace, to be agents of peace, to let our voices not echo violence, but remind every broken heart that we are much more better than this. And friends, may the peace of Christ, always so gentle and strong, comfort us, hold us, and guide us. And may our actions today honor Charlie's life by breathing hope into this fractured world. And just as we once rose together from the ashes of September the 11th, may we rise again today, united in grief, but stronger in faith and love and resolve to never let hate have the final word. As we bring on this morning, I wanted to have the video off just so folks can reflect and not see us. But Jason, it's good to be here. And, a somber morning, but a morning that, we always come on and lift up and encourage people. And even through this tragedy, we want to be here and encourage folks this morning. So good to see you today, Jason.
Good to see you as well. Yes, it's well said, Rob. And it is the temperature in our culture seems to be raising, and people, it's very volatile out there, and it's a time, like you said, of really focusing on who we are as a people, and it's never right to lose someone in such a way, and I think, like you said, we're better than that.
Yeah, one thing for me, Jason, is I see these kind of things, and it's unfortunate because I feel like it's becoming all too common. But there does need to be a time of unity and people coming together. And I was talking to a friend of mine a friend of mine. She's known me since kindergarten. She's my kindergarten teacher. But we have different political views, but that doesn't allow us to get in the way of a friendship. And we had a dialogue and a private message. I don't talk a lot of politics. I just don't. There's so much disagreement and so much separation. And I was telling her that we need to quit focusing so much on what this world has to offer, because it doesn't have much to offer, if anything at all. And I told her, I said, we need to keep our eyes fixed on Christ. And I said, because Satan has been given dominion over this world, and evil is a very real, and Satan is a real, and hell is real, and all of these things are real, and spiritual warfare is real. And I think what happens a lot of times is we've talked about this numerous times, we're on this playing field, this level field. And what I mean by that is we are looking around, and this is earth, this is the world. And when we put our focus up to our Creator, to God in heaven, Jason, like right now, I see you from my peripheral vision. It's like, I love you, brother. But when I'm looking up here, I'm focused on Him. Mm-hmm. And I can see what you're doing, and I'm mindful of it. But my focus is primarily on God. And I think when we have that focus, it's not to say that everything's always going to be okay, because sin entered this world, as you taught me. I say it all the time. You explained it to me, growing up pretty much in church almost my entire life. It was never explained in a way that was so simple, that sin came into this world, and that's why destruction happens, and it's tough. But I believe that if we would just try to find common ground with each other and focus on things that can bring us together. That's what I was telling someone last night, when we were talking on Messenger in the background. I said, if we could just focus on the things that bring us together, instead of focusing on the differences. And it's hard to do that. It really is. I'm not going to sit here and say it's easy, because many of us have ideas and opinions, but if everybody would move out of this mindset of thinking that their answer is the right answer. Now, the right answer that we know is Christ, obviously. We're going to stand on that truth 100,000%. But in other things, find common ground.
Yeah, and I think that it's okay, like you said, we need to understand that it's okay to have differing opinions on different things. But it's not okay to stand across the room and scream at one another and hurl insults and names at one another. All that does is raise the temperature of the rhetoric, and it doesn't accomplish anything. And then resorting to violence is the lowest of all forms. You know what I'm saying? Where we can't communicate and discuss and our differences and have a civil conversation about things. And it's sad what happened yesterday, and especially right in front of so many thousands of people that had gathered there, and then hundreds, thousands, millions of people that that has been seen over and over and over again on social media and other platforms. And then they believe that the shooter was 200 yards away on top of a roof. I'm not an expert in this, but it doesn't sound like this was just a random thing. Sounds to me like it was obviously planned for someone to be there and have that kind of precision with a rifle, high-powered rifle, obviously, and it's just it shows you where we are in our nation, and I think it is a call to, come together and try to find a place, like you said, of resolution and unity. Mm-hmm. One nation under God.
That's right. That's it. One nation under God is the main line of it. And Jason, as we sit here, one of the things I read was, and we've mentioned this, you mentioned it in your sermons, which I just appreciate you. I know you don't like me talking you up, but I will, because I appreciate you so much, because the Lord has blessed you with such an anointing to preach God's word and in a relatable way that's easy for anyone, a believer or non-believer, to understand. And you said this one time too, that I'm going to make a book of things that you've said that have stuck with me, Jason. No. But you need to write a book, by the way. I think that's on the horizon for you. So if you ever thought about writing a book, put one together, man. But I was thinking about this. You said this before, that we live in a fractured world, and that's one reason when I was putting some things together last night, and then again this morning before I got the kids up, I was thinking of what word could describe the world that we live in, and one word is it's fractured. Mm-hmm. It is. But there's hope, and there's hope in that. That hope lies within Christ. Mm-hmm. And here's another thing that you always told me, is that God is still on the throne. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's hard for us to understand why things happen and why things go the way that they go, but we just have to hold on to that faith. And here's what I think. I think out of all of this, we are going to see a nation come together stronger. We saw it after 9/11. And I want to encourage people this real quick. Don't allow the small percentage of people that are saying things make that feel like that's an entire group of people. I'll be honest, I'm conservative, all right, but I'm not going to get into a political discussion. I have friends who are liberal, if you want to call it that. I'm conservative. And it upsets me that I'm seeing rhetoric online that is grouping people who follow Democrats, saying that is how all of them think. That is completely false. That narrative needs to go away. And it's just like I was telling my my kindergarten teacher online. You go back to when whenever that insurrection happened, or however you call it, back when Trump was, whenever he didn't get reelected, that was a tiny, minute percent, and of people that were storming in there, and some of them, and even out of that group, there was even a smaller percent that were over the top. Mm-hmm. There's been video that has showed different things, but what I'm getting at is, please don't start boxing people into these groups, because I believe that's what Satan wants us to do. He wants us to compartmentalize people and say, oh, well, that person don't agree with you politically, so that's it. Shun them. Start talking bad about them. Throw them out the door. It's okay to have those differences, and it's okay to, like you said, it's okay to say, you know what, I don't agree with that. And I have many friends on all sides, independent, Democrat, however you want to classify them politically. I have friends all across the aisle. And to say that every single person that believes in this ideology or this type of politics is that way, that's a false narrative that we have to stop, because that creates further division and further separation. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm going to stand true on my conservative values when people talk to me one-on-one and we engage. Obviously, I'm going to stand for what I believe. But at the same token, I think we need to go back to the Word and read about compassion and the love that Christ has. And He has love for all people. And here's something to think about, Jason. I know you want to interject, but the person who shot this guy, who shot Charlie Kirk, the Lord loves that person. And that's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah, I think in what you were saying, I think the question is in the dialogue, something we must ask ourselves, I think, is can we discuss things that are maybe uncomfortable to discuss without getting angry? Can we do that? And that's not just for the political pundits. That's for everybody.
Yeah.
Think about the issues that you discuss with whoever. Can you discuss those issues without losing your temper? Because, I mean, a lot of us struggle with that, you know. And I think if we're going to progress as a nation and be able to have civility, we need to encourage that. And not only that, I think not use these things for political gain. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Immediately, there's already people putting things online, broadcasters saying things and using those techniques for, you know, we all need to just stop and say, you know, no one should lose their life over an opinion that they have that's different than yours.
Yeah, and you know, one thing that I really like, it's so weird because a year ago, I mean, I'd heard of Charlie Kirk, but I didn't really follow anything of his, not because I didn't agree with it, I just didn't follow it. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden in my reels about a year ago, it just started popping up all the time, and I was like, I said, wow, this guy's actually engaging with people in a way that I haven't seen before. It wasn't like he was trying to dehumanize or demoralize. He just said, if you're in the back of the line, come to the front of the line and talk to me. And it became very popular. There was many people, you know, with different beliefs that would come up. And one thing that I noticed, there was always a lot of respect when he would engage with some people. I was watching one last night, you know, after all this happened, and the political views and that this person had were way different than his. But he used words like, I appreciate that, I respect that, but, you know, and then he gave his thought. And I think if we could have more open dialogue without throwing stones at people. Now, I will say this, that phrase, sticks and stones will break my bones, words will never hurt me. I don't know where that came from because, you know what, words do hurt people.
Yeah, they do.
Now, sticks and stones hurt a little bit worse, but words do hurt people. And we have to, you know, the Bible talks about our tongue, and we have to watch what we say. We really do. And I've always thought about this, too, that the enemy attacks us from our mind. That's the way that he gets in, and we have to guard our mind. Mm-hmm. You know, we talk so much about guarding our heart and guarding our spirit, but I want to encourage you this morning to guard your mind. Because the more that you allow your mind, and I'm not saying you need to be open to things and learn, obviously, but I'm talking about guard your mind from things that are evil. And, you have to pray about that and say, Lord, if something's coming my way, help to give me the gift of discernment to know if, yes, this is okay, or no, it's not. Because we take in so much every day, Jason, from the media, from social media, from people, and anywhere that we're around. And we don't realize subconsciously all that stuff. Just look at children, how they inhale all this stuff on YouTube, and then all of a sudden they're acting it back out. My kids right now are loving CeCe Winans, brother. They are jamming to CeCe. And my little boy this morning, I had on I put it on like a Christian music playlist, and Caden's he's just going like this, and that warmed my heart to see that. But it's what they're taking in is what they push out.
Oh, for sure. And you know, the country has had this, like I said, this high temperature of rhetoric, but social media, all it does is pour gasoline on that. You know, we've seen that in our culture, that social media aspect, because it feeds you, you know, the algorithm set up to where it feeds you what you want to hear, and it just increases that hostility and rhetoric. And I think that we see that even in the aftermath of this. It's just bombarding people's minds and thoughts, and it's sad.
My brother had called me yesterday. I was right out here on the side of the church getting ready to go take care of a couple of errands, and he called me when I got in the truck. And my brother's phone, I can never understand him on his phone, his Bluetooth, just because the way, you know, he has my voice is low. Man, his voice, you could go sit in a room and get a foot massage when he talks. I mean, that's my brother's voice. And so the phones don't pick up. And I was telling Molly here, our receptionist at church, that you remember Singular Wireless back in the day? Man, I could not stand people that had Singular when I had to leave voicemails, because their voicemail system on Singular Wireless would not detect my brother and I's voice. And it would always go, "Are you still there? Are you there?" And I was like, "Yes, I'm trying to leave a voicemail." And that but so yesterday, my brother and I picked up fragments, and then all of a sudden he said, "Charlie Kirk." And I was like, "Charlie Kirk." And then I I picked up, and it was fragments of word, Charlie Kirk shot, and I was like, "Are you telling me Charlie Kirk got shot?" He goes, "Yeah, man." And so in that moment, I just want to be transparent because I have to practice what I preach, man. It's not easy. In that moment, this boil of anger and rage came over me. It just, and I had to pause, Jason. I really did in my I said, Lord, I just paused it. Please bring peace and comfort into my life because I'm upset. And there's a time, obviously, to be angry, but you got to be careful because the anger can boil over into actions that we saw yesterday. So yeah, it's tough. But I wanted to open with that. I know that's something we're always positive and lifting up people. And, through all of that, I hope that the encouragement this morning is to just find common ground, please, and have a dialogue. Just and it's not easy. For me, I'm 97% unconfrontational according to have you taken the test yet, Jason?
No.
You're like, I ain't taking that thing.
I'd probably be right up there at the top too.
Deborah and I joke. Deborah's here. She's our children's minister. She took the test and it said she was 100 or something like that.
Yeah.
So Deborah and I get along really well. So it's good to have other people in your life to help you through things. But well, I know all that going on. It makes for a heavy morning, and we think about 9/11. I remember I just wanted to reflect briefly on that as well, and then we'll take a break. We have a guest here today too. She's going to be sharing some awesome things the Lord is doing in her life. But I'm never going to forget now because we always we can remember exactly where we were. I'm going to remember from this day forward half of the day yesterday. I can remember vividly yesterday because of what happened. And just like 9/11, I remember I was a senior in high school, Diane Wettig's marketing class, and we had the old TVs, the CRTs. Remember those back in the day?
Yeah.
Some people are watching saying, you don't even know, young man, because we had to go to Western Auto and get tubes for our TV. I wasn't the tube, but I was the cathode ray back then, cathode ray television type generation. But I remember them rolling that in there, and it was very weird that morning. I remember Ms. Wettig was saying, hey, there's something really serious going on. She turns on the TV. This was before the internet was streaming. And I remember the first thing I thought of, because we didn't think anything of terrorism then, the first thing I thought of is, wow, we have cable television in high school? Why didn't I know this? Because they had it all hooked up to the cable TV. The second, then as we're watching, we see the second, and immediately everybody gasped, and we knew. I mean, you probably remember that day vividly as well.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
Jason?
I was at seminary in Fort Worth, and I was in my duplex there getting ready for class. And I turned on the TV and saw what had happened, and saw the first tower on fire, and then not long after that, the second plane hit the tower, and went to class, had an early class that morning, went to class, and they told us that class was dismissed, but everybody was going to gather in the chapel for a time of prayer, and we did, and it was just a sweet spirit in that place of praying for our nation. I'll never forget, I was pastoring the church in Milliken, going to church that particular Sunday, and I guess every church around was completely packed with full of people. And I mean, it was that time in our nation where we felt like we were all attacked, and it had this way of drawing everybody together, despite what side of the aisle you're on, our political views. We were all humans. We were all Americans at that time, and I saw that in our church. Our church grew after that, and it was a time for people really to reflect on life and the importance of eternity, and it was a wake-up call for so many people, and that's what I'll remember about it.
I remember the 911 calls, that they would release later on. A gentleman was in the building as it, said, hurry, get up here, I need some help, and then, the building would collapse while he was still on the phone. I remember that distinctively. You remember the airphone recordings from United 93 that they released, and you think about the families, and I think for those of us that grew up in that or were alive when that happened, I think in a way, unfortunately, it desensitized a lot of things, because when you see something of that scale and then you see something else, you're like, your first thought is, well, here we go again. And that shouldn't be the thought. That should not be the thought of here we go again. It should be, this needs to stop. And I remember that day too, we were in school, and the school had allowed, if parents wanted to come, there was nothing wrong with that. I mean, everybody was worried and concerned, obviously. If I was a parent, my children were in school, I probably would have went to go get them, And I thought a lot, too, about that evening. I was dating a young lady at the time, and we'd already had plans to go out to eat, and we were wondering, should we go out to eat? Is that even the right thing to do? And we did. We went to Chewy's in Round Rock, and it was weird. There was, no music playing. They had the music turned off, and it was – you've been at a cafeteria where all you hear, it's quiet, but all you hear are the forks clinking on the – that's what it sounded like in Chewy's. Nobody was really talking. No one knew what to say.
Yeah.
And then I remember, too, the Internet – by the way, Al Gore didn't invent the Internet. Tim Berners-Lee did. So just wanted to make that clear, the World Wide Web, or rather. I always have to make that clear. So Tim Berners-Lee invented the World Wide Web. But anyways, the Internet crashed that day. The World Wide Web crashed. I remember so many servers were getting hammered because everybody was trying to get information. I remember, CNN crashed, and at the time it was the big top news company. So everybody would go to CNN, and there wasn't a lot of, Fox News, CNN. There wasn't this huge political battle between the news stations back then. But I remember their website being down. I remember PBS television not airing regular public broadcasting. They were airing syndicated news feeds from other from ABC, or it was like everybody didn't care if they were in competition. The news companies, there was not one channel, even the Cartoon Network was showing live news. I distinctly remember that, Jason.
And there was no commercials, if you remember that too. There was no commercials because they weren't going to profit off of that tragedy. But yeah, and maybe I'm just naive, but after that tragedy, like I said, there seemed to be such unity, and where we've come from that really has deteriorated, I think. I mean, I really feel like there's a lot more divisiveness in our nation, in our country today than there has been before. And I have some ideas of why I think that is, but I'm not sure exactly why it's gone so far in that direction.
Yeah. My challenge, and here's some encouragement, and I'm not saying it for us, I'm saying it for every church. Make it a point Sunday, please. I'm asking you, not for me, not for Jason, not for anybody else, but for the Lord and for your family and for you. Make it a point this Sunday to find a church and go to.
Yeah.
If you haven't been in years, maybe there's this disconnect because you said, well, they're all about the money or they're all about this. Put all that aside, because I can assure you 99% of them aren't about those things.
Right.
But make it a priority to find a church this Sunday, whether it's here, whether it's anywhere in town, that believes in the Lord. I ask of you, that is a challenge. Find a church this Sunday, because I know that there's going to be a lot of discussion, a lot of prayer, and some, it's going to be hard to understand why things happen, but I think that there will be a renewed sense of faith, and I do believe that. As I said, in this fractured world, Jason, I truthfully believe that the revival still continues, and I think this is going to create even more of a spiritual revival. We have seen it time and time again, even amongst all this division. Dr. Jones and I went out and had lunch, and you and him go out and have lunch, and y'all talk about these things. And he's a big advocate for spiritual awakening and renewal. We're seeing it more and more and more. And I believe after this, and that's what I truthfully believe that Charlie Kirk would have wanted, is people to come together in unity. But also, most importantly, he would have wanted people to come together in faith. So come on Sunday, find a church, and even if you said, I don't want to go.
Yeah, I think the thing that was amazing after 9/11 was that sense of community. Like I said, we were all New Yorkers, we were all Americans, we were all one. And that's something that the church definitely provides, is a sense of community, and we need that we need one another. Life's too hard to do it alone, and we need one another. We need to reinvigorate that sense of community and caring for one another.
Well, hey, we're going to take a break in just a moment. The Horn family just messaged in. Linda said we were looking good today, Jason.
Yes.
But it's for a somber reason. You know, a good friend of ours and a good friend of this church and the community, Mr. Ed Arthur Holt, had passed, and his services are today. And you know, what a tremendous man. He leaves behind such a tremendous faith-filled legacy that's going to impact generations to come. You know, great man, Jason.
Definitely.
So that is why, you know,
we're dressed up.
We have the service today at 2 o'clock. So, well, any comments before we close this first segment? I know it's not our typical first segment, but anything you want to add?
I think you nailed it, Rob. I think you nailed it. It was a great monologue, and I think you really hit the nail on the head.
All right. Well, we're going to take a brief break. We have a friend joining us this morning from Baptist Student Ministry. She's going to share a little bit about how the Lord's been working in her life and some exciting news that recently happened for her and a couple of other folks that are involved with BSM. Great organization on campus, and we like to have them from time to time. Do us a favor. Let us know you're out there this morning. Let us know what you're thankful for as we pause and reflect on goodness this morning in our lives. I know that it's hard to find that sometimes, but I really want you to find that this morning. There is a lot to be proud about. There's a lot to be thankful for. Even this morning as I dropped off the children, there was a different atmosphere. As parents, we always say good morning, but you could feel that there was a different good morning. And as I drove up to the Tomorrow's Promise Academy, they had a flagpole, and they had lowered those flags there was folks there putting them at half staff. I thought that was so fitting, you know, for this morning. Well, we'll step aside. We'll take a break. We'll continue promoting and celebrating the good as always. Oh, look, there's the snake and Jason. I didn't mean to do that. That was the wrong graphic from last week. We did have to throw a little laugh in there, you know. Did you have dreams about the snake?
No.
No dreams about the snake?
No, thankfully.
Jason said before his biggest fear was a snake in a bed. So there you
definitely,
go. I still had that as the graphic loaded. We'll step aside, take a break. As always, we're here on a Thankful Thursday, brought to you by First Baptist Church, a harbor of hope here in Huntsville. Stay with us. More to come at your show. This is Good Morning Huntsville. We'll be right back after this.
Since 2010, the Oak Ridge Disciple House has helped men break free from addiction, not with quick fixes, but lasting change through Jesus Christ. They've celebrated 167 graduates at Oak Ridge and 138 more at Interfaith with an 80% success rate. That's compared to just 5% in most secular programs. The fact is, Jesus works. And now, celebrating 15 years, they're building their third house in Tennessee and just launched a women's program, Restoration Ranch in Texas. It's all for God's glory. And here's the heart of it. They never turn anyone away for lack of money. In fact, 95% of families receive scholarships. As one person put it, don't talk about it, be about it. Every penny counts. Donate today at oakridgedisciplehouse.com and help change a life forever. The Oak Ridge Disciple House. Online at oakridgedisciplehouse.com. Real recovery, real hope.
Tomorrow's Promise Montessori schools believe in creating spaces where children can learn, grow, and use their imaginations. At any Tomorrow's Promise location, children enjoy the largest playgrounds in town. Tomorrow's Promise Montessori is a fun school where every child learns at their own pace, and mastery of a concept is expected before moving on to the next concept. At Tomorrow's Promise, every child is respected, loved, and nurtured for the unique individual that they are.
Tomorrow's Promise Academy on Veterans Memorial now open. Visit tomorrowspromise.info for more information. Education you can trust.
Hi, I'm Billy Cawthon, manager of Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. We know times of loss are tough, and you need a place to feel comfortable and cared for. At Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, we pride ourselves on being with you during those really tough days. You can rest assured that we will be on your side and by your side every step of the way. Thank you for your trust. Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, supporting families every day, every step.
This is KHSP LP, Huntsville, Texas, the spirit of Huntsville.
This is Jason Bay, the pastor at First Baptist Church, Huntsville, and you're listening to Spirit Radio, the Spirit of Huntsville.
Braylon, say, this is Spirit Radio.
This is Spirit Radio.
The Spirit of Huntsville, spiritradio.fm.
All right, friends, back at it as we continue on this morning. Thank you for hanging out with us and joining us on Thursday, September the 11th, 2025. Got a quick weather update for you as you're waking up this morning. A beautiful morning outside again. We've had nice, cool weather throughout the last week or so. Fall definitely feeling like it's in the air. Right now, though, a little bit warmer, 72 degrees. It'll be up to 93 and sunny. Overnight, 71. Tomorrow, 93 and sunny. And that trend will continue throughout the weekend. And we still, thank the good Lord, do not have any rain in the forecast through Wednesday. So get out and enjoy it. Spend some time with your families and be thankful for all of the beautiful things. Despite so much adversity and tragedy, there's still so much beauty. As the Bible says, there's beauty in the ashes, and we see that beauty for ashes. We see that throughout our world. Well, hey, this is really cool. We've been wanting to have this young lady on for a while. I had to pay her a lot of money to be here this morning, as I do all of our guests. But we're going to switch to her here in 3. You ready? 2.
Ready.
All right, you ready? 3, 2, 1. Andrea Watkins joining us this morning. What's Andrea Watkins? Good to see you this morning.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, you're with the BSM. We'll talk about Baptist Student Ministries in just a little bit, but first, Andrea is over at the Baptist Student Ministries. Let us know a little bit about just your journey and how you got to Huntsville, and give us the full details.
Yeah, so I actually grew up in Waco in Central Texas.
You a Bear fan, Baylor Bear?
I am a Baylor Bear fan. Sick 'em Bears.
Yes. Yeah. All right, I knew I liked you already.
And so I actually wanted to be a teacher growing up, and so when I got to applying for colleges, I learned that Sam Houston was one of the number 1 schools in the state for education, and so I said I have to go there. I want to be a good teacher, and so that's how I ended up in Huntsville. And fall of 2018, I got involved with the Baptist Student Ministry as a freshman, and just really learned what it meant to serve and to be a part of community, and what it looks like to share the gospel with students on campus. And so I graduated in December of 2022 with my degree in elementary education, and felt the Lord calling me to do something with my life and I think really what it was is learning that God has plans, and that what my plans were before were just asking him to bless what I was doing and not really obeying him. And so that's what led me to being involved in the Baptist Student Ministry as a campus missionary for the past 2.5 years. And over the summer, I've been support raising and partnering with people, and this fall I get to start as a coordinator back on the campus full time. So.
How cool is that? Man, that is great. I love when you remain in faith. You never know what's going to happen. You know, you came here and, pursued an education degree, got a great degree in elementary education. And, you probably thought at first, like, well, I'm going to go straight to a school district, right?
Yeah.
And then the Lord kind of pulled you in a different direction.
For sure, yeah.
Well, it's great how all that works. Let us know a little bit, just, over this journey now and being involved with BSM, just the impact that you see BSM making, and how important it is for folks such as yourself who are involved with BSM, at a leadership level. I mean, you're not there as a student anymore. You're there now in a leadership position. Just maybe let people know a little bit about what that's like and the impact y'all are making.
Yeah. I think as a student, when I came in, I think what every student is searching for is a place to belong and to feel like someone cares about them. And so that's what the BSM was for me. I came in, and people that didn't look like me, honestly, were there, and they welcomed me in. And I feel like this is a place that I could belong, and that would be a community of people that had the same values as me and that loved the Lord and wanted to see me grow. And so that's how impactful it was for me, and why I stayed and decided to become on staff. But as a leader, I think I look at students that came in and that are just like me, that maybe don't have a lot of friends, or they're just searching for a church home or people that love the Lord to really grow with and have community. And that's what the BSM provides. And not only just community for believers, but really the whole purpose of really the faith is like to share the gospel and like see people come to know Jesus, and so that's something that we emphasize at the BSM, whether it's through ministry or just day-to-day going to classes. Like, we want people to know Jesus and to feel loved for and cared for. So
That's great. Well, Josh, I want to bring you into the conversation. Josh has been phenomenal, just engaging with so many students at the university. Josh, maybe talk about how you and Samantha kind of met
Samantha.
I'm Andrea. Andrea. See, thank you, Andrea. I don't know why. I had Samantha on yesterday. That's why. It's a close name, too. I don't know how I got that out of that. Andrea, sorry. Let us know. It's one of those blunders. I've had 2 blunders in 600 episodes almost. This was a second blunder. So, but no, seriously, though, talk a little bit about just how you got to know and y'all's friendship and those kind of things, Josh, and then I'll let you kind of lead the conversation.
Yeah.
I'll let you lead the conversation, Bill.
Yeah, so I honestly, I don't really remember how I met you, but I remember, so for the people who know Bear, he's come on the show a couple of times. Bear used to call Andrea Auntie, and me being a mini bear or a tiny bear.
Oh, I thought he used to call you Samantha. That's where I got it from. No, just kidding.
I started calling Andrea Auntie. Out of nowhere, and then I remember one day we were doing a ministry together during Welcome Week last year, and I asked her how did she know that she was God called her to the the ministry field, and so how did you know that God called you to the ministry field?
If I'm being honest, it was probably my junior year of college, so right after COVID, we maybe my sophomore year, we went home for school, and we had to leave the campus. And I just remember taking my education classes, and it just, I don't know, something just changed. Because all of my life, I was I want to be an educator. I was one of those kids that used to write in books and pretend I was a teacher in grade and things like that. Oh, that's cool. And so that was who I was. That was my identity. I was going to be a teacher. I wanted to be great at it. I wanted to help students learn. And then after that time period, I came back to campus, and, I'd missed out on half a semester of ministry and missed out on the friends that I made in college. And I just wanted to serve, and I wanted to be with my friends again and share the gospel and things. And I couldn't because of the way that my classes were set up. I had a lot of field experience that I needed to do, and so it took time away from being in the BSM and being a part of ministry. And I just remember feeling I don't like this anymore, or this is taken away from really what I felt gave me joy. And so that was when I think, reflecting back, that was when I first started to notice. And then also my last semester of student teaching, just there were different changes, and I think that contributed to a lot of understanding that education probably wasn't in the plans anymore. But I think very clearly I just felt the Lord saying, you had a plan and you thought it was good, and it wasn't terrible, but it really wasn't his plan. And so I think I just felt the Lord was calling me into obedience, and so that looked like joining ministry full time.
Yeah, that's kind of a similar thing to how I experienced, because I came to Sam Houston for CJ. Yeah. And then I did CJ in high school, my last year of high school, and then I was that was the year when I found out the Lord was calling me. I was I don't like this anymore. Yeah.
After his whole family gave up everything to come from Lebanon, Josh, what are you doing switching? No, I'm just kidding. They've been supportive.
Yeah, they have been supportive. But I want to talk a little bit about the BSM, because at the BSM we have something called discipleship, which isn't seen a lot. The way we do it, it's not seen everywhere around the world. And discipleship is kind of like teaching. So how do you see God using these gifts that he has given you before? Yeah. In that.
I think, discipleship, I honestly didn't know what discipleship was until I came to Sam Houston and got involved in the BSM. And so I think how I see that in terms of what I've learned as an educator is that everyone is different. And so when I first started discipling other college students, other girls, I think I tried to make it all the same, because I felt it would be easier for me if everybody was on the same plan, and eventually in my mind everybody would get to the same goal. But that's not true. Even in education, we see that you have to differentiate your instruction and sometimes your curriculum to have everyone meet on the same goal, because everyone doesn't start from the same like on the same playing field. And so I see the same thing like on the college campus. Sometimes people grew up differently. Sometimes they didn't grow up in the church. And so some of the Christian language that we use, like everyone doesn't always understand those things or have the same, values to start off with, even if they are a believer. And so I think I see that in discipleship, like people have different needs. Some people you can be more stern with and just kind of challenge them and call them up. But some people need that support and need to be encouraged, as you're still challenging them, in the faith. So,
yeah. So now that, like, you got a promotion, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so from campus missionary to coordinator, right?
Yeah.
So what changes for you? How will life at the BSM be different?
I think so. Our BSM is a little different, and so our director Chris Smith, he's really hands-on for everybody. So our whole team is always involved in everything that we do. I think one of the main things that changes for me is the way I've had to raise support. And so over the summer, like I met with people individually and like got to really share about the BSM and the impact that it's had on my life and what the impact that it's had on Sam Houston's campus. And so something that will change for me, not just only in the BSM, but in outside life, is the way that I share about what the Lord is doing. It's been so encouraging just to hear people be like, wow, like I want to hear about this more. Like, why didn't you tell me this before? And I'm like, I don't know. But I think another thing is, like learning how to build connections with people and involve people that are not necessarily on the college campus in what's going on at the BSM. Really within the ministry, not a lot changes, honestly, because I'm still going to be on campus discipling students, sharing the gospel, and helping the ministry become be a place that people can have community. But
yeah, that's awesome.
Well, Andrea, you're doing such incredible work for the Lord. It's awesome to hear about the BSM and all the great things happening. I know originally we were going to have you come on just like Hayden and talk about funding, but I heard some exciting news that happened. Can you share the exciting news? I mean, there's still an opportunity for something, but some exciting news. Tell us what happened.
Yeah, so last Friday we talked about I'm fully funded now. And so there's a grant that was given by the Texas Baptist that allows, both Hayden and I to be on campus full time and still support raising and looking for people that are willing to partner with us so that we can be on campus. But we're officially back on campus.
Awesome.
So.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah,
great news. Yeah, Josh had told me, and we were going to have you on, I know, a week or so ago, and then that grant came through, and Josh had said, he was talking to me. I said, well, I still wanted to come on and share the good news about what BSM is doing. And just because you're fully funded doesn't mean that they still need funds. You can still donate and help out the Baptist Student Ministries online. If you just go to Google, search for Baptist Student Ministries Huntsville, and it'll be the first link that pops up, and then you'll see an opportunity there to give and to donate and to help out. Mm-hmm. Maybe what's in the pipeline? Y'all are so busy. Talk about maybe a couple things that y'all are working on and some future things that you're looking forward to.
Yeah. So for the month of September, Welcome Week actually was probably the busiest time for us. But this month, one of the big things that we're looking forward to is our Family Day weekend. And this is something new that we're trying out, but we want to invite families to come because the campus hosts families for the weekend, and they have different events, but we want to be able to host our families and students that are involved in the Baptist Student Ministry, and also any Bearcat alumni. So if anyone's listening out there and they want to come back and just to learn about what's going on at the BSM and what kind of ministry we have and the things that we're celebrating, we would love to have you guys. It's September 27th. And we're going to have lunch for everyone. So
awesome. Well, I know you've talked about a lot, and I kind of want to circle back maybe to the beginning. What does kind of a day-to-day role look like for you? Now you're there on campus pretty much full time. What does that day-to-day look like for you? What are you kind of engaged in and some of those things?
Yeah. So throughout the week, we have a lot of different ministries and campus outreaches that students are involved in, and they get to lead out. And so each day is pretty much different, but I think the things that are pretty much the same is that I'm in the building engaging with students, helping them find a place of community, whether they want to hang out and do homework together or whether they just want to talk about their day and things like that. But also, I get to disciple girls. So this past week, I've been like scheduling things and talking to new freshmen that are interested in discipleship and helping them get plugged in and learn how to serve with one another. And yeah, that's really it. Like just engaging the campus. One of the ministries that is going to happen today, this Thursday, is surveys. And so students will get to gather together and pray before they head out, and then head out into the student center and get to have conversations with students, with their classmates and people that they know, in order to like have an opportunity to share the gospel. So
awesome.
Yeah. I know that surveys is a big ministry for the BSM because I've seen fruit from it.
Yeah.
So what fruit have you seen at the BSM recently or in the past year and stuff?
Yeah, I would say recently, I think the fruit that I'm really excited about and celebrating is, I think some of the freshmen like yourself that have come up in the past year, just seeing how you guys have gained confidence because of what the Lord is doing in your life. And I think last year, like I remember some of the girls that I see now as leaders, they were nervous and like really shy to kind of reach out and engage other students. But now I see them like sharing the gospel and just welcoming others into community. And so that's been such a blessing just to see how the Lord has called you guys and just giving you confidence, to lead out this semester. So it's been really sweet. I feel like an auntie, like just seeing like guys, people grow up, and just the Lord use you guys in really cool ways.
Yeah. It's been a fruitful semester.
Yeah.
A lot of growth I've seen.
It's these young bucks over here, Andrea, that y'all are taking good care of them. So we are. Well, hey, we appreciate you for being on today. Joshua, thank you for inviting, I almost said it again, Andrea. I don't know why that name is stuck in my head.
Maybe that's my middle name, Andrea Samantha.
But we're so excited about what the Lord's doing through you, Andrea, and through the Baptist Student Ministries. I think it's so wonderful. And you're welcome back anytime. So you just reach out to Josh, or if you already have the link, you don't even need to call us. You just fill out that link, and you come back anytime you want. You're now officially a friend of the program.
All right.
And
awesome.
We're going to continue to pray and believe and know that God is doing some amazing things through what you're doing, your ministry at BSM, which we're really excited about. So thank you, Andrea. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Have a blessed day.
Thank you.
Well, we'll step aside. We'll take a break. Pastor Bay Reed joins us as we maybe have some news you can use. We'll talk about that in just a little bit whenever we come back. Stay with us. It is your show. It's Good Morning Huntsville here on a very, very thankful Thursday. Stay with us.
Since 2010, the Oak Ridge Disciple House has helped men break free from addiction, not with quick fixes, but lasting change through Jesus Christ. They've celebrated 167 graduates at Oak Ridge and 138 more at Interfaith with an 80% success rate. That's compared to just 5% in most secular programs. The fact is, Jesus works. And now, celebrating 15 years, they're building their third house in Tennessee and just launched a women's program, Restoration Ranch in Texas. It's all for God's glory. And here's the heart of it. They never turn anyone away for lack of money. In fact, 95% of families receive scholarships. As one person put it, don't talk about it, be about it. Every penny counts. Donate today at oakridgedisciplehouse.com and help change a life forever. The Oak Ridge Disciple House. Online at oakridgedisciplehouse.com. Real recovery, real hope.
Hi, I'm Billy Cawthon, manager of Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. We know times of loss are tough, and you need a place to feel comfortable and cared for. At Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, we pride ourselves on being with you during those really tough days. You can rest assured that we will be on your side and by your side every step of the way. Thank you for your trust. Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, supporting families every day, every step.
Here it is. Look at that grasply voice going. Is that even a word, grasply? I don't think so. I just left the VFW hall before smoking was banned. Trying to get my voice back. The only reason I say that, by the way, please don't be offended, is because I grew up in the VFW hall.
That's what I was going to say. You got some experience there.
I love the VF, is what we called it. But now, live from Studio 1229J, it's news you could use with Pastor Jason Bay.
Oh, thank you, Rob. Thank you so much. Yeah, we do have some news you can use this morning. Remember, these are lighthearted stories to allow you to be able to generate discussion around the dinner table with your family. So that's why we generate these each week, and I just have a few that I want to share with you. First, I want to kind of catch up with you on the football season is often going. Rob came over last week. We had to twist his arm to come over and watch the Cowboys, and the Cowboys put on a good show, but as usual, that's what I said. As usual, they came up a little bit short. It's just the nature of Dallas Cowboys football that they ended the first game like they did, because this is the way it seems like every season has ended.
Yeah, good old C. You know, everybody wants to blame C.D. Lamb. Should have caught this, should have caught. You know what? Should have just played better the whole game. Yeah. I always hate when it comes down to the wire, because then you can nitpick any little play. Or my favorite is when you blame the official. Oh, that official made the wrong call. I will say this, though.
Yes.
Put all that aside.
Yes.
Every bit of it.
Yes.
I won my very first fantasy football game.
There you go. All right. That's what it's all about these days, people's fantasy leagues.
Yes. Whenever I was on auto draft, predicted to finish 7th out of 8th, but I was able to trade about 4 or 5 players. Those players stepped up bigly for me. Bigly. And we won.
Rob's still deeply connected with the NFL, despite the fact that he comes on here and tells us each week that he doesn't watch it.
Well, and you know what the NFL stands for?
Not for long.
Not for long. That's right. That's what my old pastor used to say, because his dad was an assistant coach, and he was like, Daddy always told us, not for long.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, this week, the big game in college football, Texas A&M plays Notre Dame, especially for me and my family. We're going to be sitting around the TV, and hopefully it's a good game, and hopefully the Aggies can go out there and to South Bend and make a go for it.
Who are they playing?
Notre Dame.
Oh, a little luck of the Irish. Hopefully the luck's ran out on those guys.
Yeah, maybe so. I don't know. It'll be a good game. Hopefully it'll be a good game, and we'll watch that. And Saturday night, 6:30.
There's going to be a real close game down in Austin this weekend. Have a little more faith. Sam Houston, UT. It's the Battle of the Orange down there in Austin.
That's good, yes.
So it'll be fun.
There you go. All right, a couple more things I want to get to. CNBC posted this article I thought was pretty interesting from a CEO. It says, I've interviewed over 500 candidates. These subtle habits scream red flags in the job interviews. Have you ever interviewed anybody in a job interview and you just thought maybe somebody needs to give you some instructions on how to do an interview?
Oh, yeah. My most favorite one, I asked this guy. I'm in a computer business, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting there interviewing this guy. God bless him, poor guy. He was a nice guy. But I said, what skills do you have? You know, and just a generic quote. What skills do you have? I just like to leave it open-ended. He goes, well, He's real nervous. He's looking at the wall when he was talking to me. Mm-hmm. I was like, is this guy making up stuff or what? He goes, well, I know how to put the RAM chips on the motherboard. And I'm sitting there thinking, wow, we got a lot of that going on.
Yeah, right.
We didn't do that hardly at all. Right. I mean, that's a simple – they have machines that do that on the assembly line now.
Right,
Poor guy. And but out of all – it was just that he was talking like – this would be like you and I on the show. Well, Jason, it's good to see you this morning. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't, mm-hmm. And there was this, and I'm not poking fun, but there was always this. I loved my IT company because I would break people out of that IT shell. I called it the IT attitude. I would break them out of that because in order to have a successful business, our technicians, I didn't want to go through a phone. If you were working on a computer, I didn't want you to have to go through the phone to talk to the customer. I wanted you to be able to talk to the customer directly. So let me rephrase that. I didn't want you to have to go through somebody else and somebody else relay what you were doing to that customer.
Right.
So I was really big on teaching our technicians people skills.
I
said, maybe this guy would have, if he would have worked out, but we didn't have a need for someone who could pop RAM chips on a motherboard. I mean, that wasn't. We're not a manufacturer. And then the other one, I interviewed a guy from California. Nothing to do with California. I've been down to SoCal, love it. It's a beautiful area, Del Mar. But I interviewed a guy in a Zoom meeting he ended up moving to Georgetown to work for us. He only worked for us for a month, though. And it was so funny because in the interview, he's just, like, fidgeting real awkwardly. And he's like, oh, man, well, I really want to come fly up there and check out your facilities. I was like, have you done any research? Our facility is a 1,200 square foot room. We don't have facilities. And we ended up hiring him. He was a great guy, but then I say he was great. He fizzled out after a month. So
well, these things that you're bringing up, though, both of these are really are similarly mentioned in this article, because a lot of young people today don't have those interview skills that a lot of times that older people that were kind of used to engaging with people because of social media and the lack of face-to-face connection. There's less of that going on today. People text, they don't talk. And so I think these things that this article mentions are very helpful. Number one, he says, to show red flags. These are red flags. Number one, if they show up late, it signals a lack of preparation. If someone shows up even a minute late to an interview, it raises questions right away. So it says, aim to be early. Number two, polished words without substance don't land. If they're trying to use big words or try to seem really educated or knowledgeable in the field, what he says to use instead of trying to seem impressive with your vocabulary is to tell a story about, it says replace buzzwords with proof. Instead of I'm collaborative, tell a story about how you work with other people to save a project. I think that's key, is that you're able to use real life experience to share what's going on, what your experience. Tell a story about how you have done that. Tell a story about how you placed that RAM chip into that motherboard and what it felt like when you snapped it into place.
There you go. Yeah.
Number three, and this is what you said. This is the last one, and you mentioned this. Energy in the interview or lack of it says a lot. For me, he says, energy is one of the most telling signals. The interview is your best case performance. If you show up flat, it won't get better once you're actually on the job. And he mentions in this section of the article about eye contact and being fidgety or looking around, but to give the person your undivided attention and to show engagement with your posture and your tone and thoughtful questions. At the end of the interview, you always say, do you have any questions for me? And one of the things he mentions in here is have thought out something that you're curious about to ask, not just say, no, I don't really have any questions.
Yeah. Here's the way to do a job interview, Jason. You ready for this?
Yes. Uh-oh. This is it.
You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Nah, I'm kind of an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Hey, is this going to take very long, man?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
I was talking about Ed Bassmaster, a comedian that he turned me on to.
He's like this and that. That's one of my favorite videos of his. He's like, I'm more of what you call an entrepreneur. I try to, I don't really like people telling me what to do, We need to get that guy. Here's one thing. Are we still? Is it okay to mention? Go ahead. So here's a mock job interview about the RAM guy. Right? You ready for this?
Right.
These are the questions that how he should have responded.
Okay.
Oh, so you install RAM chips, huh? Well, I consider the insertion of dynamic random access memory modules not merely as a mechanical exercise, but as a ceremonial alignment of silicone-based synaptic extensions into the motherboard's neural lattice. One must delicately synchronize the gold-plated conductive appendages with the DIMM receptacles to ensure what I call electrical symbiosis.
There you go, Rob.
See
got
you,
the
buddy.
job.
On precaution, can I do what? Let's do one more.
Yeah.
You ready for this? On precautions taken, okay? On precautions. Well, in preparation, I engage in a ritualistic discharge of my corporal electromagnetic potential, lest my very fingertips become inadvertent harbingers of catastrophic dielectric annihilation. This, in layman's terms, is why I touch the metal case before proceeding. There you go.
Red flag.
Yeah,
red
gone.
flag.
just like that balance in nature is gone.
M&M's is releasing a brand new product. It's new flavor, and it says, this article says it's too good to miss, so you need to go pick some of these up. You like M&M's?
Oh, I love them. I love the ones with the nuts in the middle of them.
Peanut M&Ms.
Peanut M&Ms.
All right, then you're going to love this, because the new flavor is honey roasted peanut M&Ms. It's a new honey roasted peanut M&Ms. Have a honey roasted peanut at the center for a satisfying crunch and extra honey sweetness. So there you go. Try it out. It's in a kind of a looks like that.
The way that you read that just now, you sounded like the Price is Right guy, like when they have the
the M&Ms
with
Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should do it. And last but definitely not least, remember when we broke the news story about Cracker Barrel? They were doing remodeling projects, and then they changed their logo and all of that. Remember that? We broke it right here on News You Can Use.
Before it became a national.
Before it was a national story. We brought it to you, to all of our listeners, that you were way ahead of this. Well, not only have they now decided not to change the logo, they've decided to cancel all the plans to remodel the stores as well.
As they should.
So they're just going back to the old school. And I guess they took Trump's advice. They're taking advantage of all the free publicity that they've had over the last month. So make it a point to stop by Cracker Barrel and enjoy the old decor.
I like it. The old decor. So, well, man, that's good stuff.
Yes.
News you can use.
News you can use. There you go.
Who are the Cowboys playing this weekend? Or when do they play? I haven't kept up with it.
They play the Giants.
Oh, that's going to be a good one.
At home. So, and the Giants are not that great of a team, but that doesn't mean that the Cowboys won't play down to their level.
You know, when I was on a serious note, when I was at North Dakota State, there was a assistant basketball coach there, really nice guy named Josh Sash. Awesome man. Loved him. But I had no idea that he tragically lost his brother. I just saw this on his Facebook. He said he posted yesterday, says 10 years ago today, or a couple days ago, and it was a picture of him and his brother. And I didn't know the story. And, I never did know the story. His brother tragically overdosed in 2015. Well, the thing about his brother was he was a standout college football player. He played for the New York Giants when they won the Super Bowl.
Oh, wow.
And he has a picture of him and his brother holding the trophy together. And it would later be revealed that he was one of the 300-plus that had been diagnosed with CTE.
Yeah.
That's a very real thing.
Absolutely. That's a devastating thing.
Well, Jason, I know we gotta wrap it up. Got a lot going on today. Just some final thoughts from you. I know I'm more of a somber day today, but you're continuing on a great series, the Nehemiah Project. Really excited about this Sunday too. It's going to be another great service.
Yeah, because one of the emphasis that we really wanted to put on our people and our church is not just to come to church, but to be the church to our community, to be that light on a hill, if you will, to be that source of hope. You always say it every morning that we gather together on Sunday mornings. We are a harbor of hope, and that's what we want to be for people. And so we wanted to encourage our people not just to come and listen, but to go and do. And so that's what the Nehemiah Project is all about. Nehemiah had a mission that he wanted to accomplish, to rebuild the walls around Jerusalem. And with the leadership skills that God gave him and the preparation, he got it done. And he got it done in record time. For 140 years, they had stumbled over those broken down walls. And when he got the people together, they were able to accomplish it in short order. And this week, so we've been following along that story. And this week we're going to be looking at whenever you step out to do what God has called you to do, guess what that brings forth? It brings forth the enemy and those that work against you. And some of those times the enemy can work through people that are often the closest to you. And we'll see how we are called or how he responded to that negativity in his life. And it's an encouragement to everybody, because when you step out to do what God's called you to do, when you step out into the God-given dream that he's placed in your heart and your life, you can be sure of it. There's going to be people there to discourage you. There's going to be people there to try to draw you off track. There's going to be people there to tell you that you can't do it. And I want to show you through the scripture how Nehemiah handled those people and handled that criticism. And it applies one-to-one with the things that we go through in our daily lives. So many people miss out on what God is calling them to do because they don't have the courage to do it, or they're afraid of what somebody else may say or think. Don't be held back by those people.
Good word. I can't wait for this Sunday as we continue the Nehemiah Project. Well, hey, again, a lot going on today. We just want to remind you, Huntsville, come together. And my challenge, like I said, Sunday, find a church, get plugged in. Just go and sit. You don't have to go up front. Sit in the back if you want, but just go. And I guarantee the Lord's going to put something on your heart, and he sees that. He sees when you get up and make the effort, and I believe you get rewarded for that. I'm not talking of worldly things. I'm talking of things that may be going on in your life. You're going to see a reward from that, because we serve a Lord who is always faithful, no matter what. And I've always said this too. I go around saying, "Oh, well, just now I got a call from Genesis Medical, and we need to call you. We need to talk to you, Mr. Hip, to go over your results." Well, that's not a fun call, probably. But you know what? The Lord's on the throne, no matter what. And I believe that with all my heart. And we serve a faithful God that's always for us, that's always with us, and that always wants to be there with us. He wants us. He created us because he wanted us. Definitely. And don't ever forget that. So absolutely. And after 9/11. And so many churches were packed that Sunday. Ever since then, the church, there's been this national back to church movement, and it's the first Sunday after September 11th, and that is this Sunday. It's the National Back to Church Sunday. So we invite you to come back to church. Maybe it's been a while since you've been in church, or maybe you've never been in a church. Come this Sunday and be a part, and find a group of people that care about you and love you and want the best for you and will rally around you. We need each other. We need community. That's it. Well, Jason, thank you, brother. Right, I know we were messaging each other last night, and I said, well, I'm kind of, I haven't been feeling too hot since Thursday, and I said, I'm going to take some medicine and see how I feel in the morning. And I was encouraging you not to come. I said, you need a break. And then you're like, no, I enjoy doing this. I do enjoy it. You're right. I feel like even just getting up and being here and doing the show today, despite I know you got a lot going on and I haven't been feeling 100%, but you know what, the Lord, I think rewards that too, because we want to be able to continue to reach people and lift people up and encourage them. And with that, I'll end the show like this, as I always do. And I want you to please listen to this morning, that reminding you that somebody out there this morning needs you. So provide a word of encouragement, lend a hand of support. And please do that today, because I promise somebody out there today needs you. For Jason Bay, Pastor Jason, and Joshua Mashi helping us out, not only here on the interviews, but also behind the scenes, I'm Rob Hipp. And we will see you tomorrow morning with Billy Cawthon, Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, right back at 7:30. Till then, good morning, Huntsville. God bless. So long. Have a beautiful day, everyone. See you, Jason. All right.